2:40 is the off time for the 2013 running of the RSA Chase, and Boston Bob bids to make it fabulous 5 for Willie Mullins at this year's festival. Goulaynes has just his second chase start for David Pipe and Tom Scudamore. Hadrian's Approach, second to Union East last time at Newbury for Barry Geraghty and Nicky Henderson. Houblon des Obeaux tipped by Tanya this morning, 8-1. And then a clutch of Irish horses with outside chances. Lyreen, Legend, and Terminal, and Lord Windermere, all tying very closely with one another. Theatrical Star for Joe and Colin Tizard. Vintage Star for Sue Smith. And now the favourite for Ruby Walsh, Union East. It is the first ride Ruby Walsh has this week for Paul Nicholls. Let's hear from the trainer now. Goulaynes, the pale blue colours there, the pink chevrons lining up as if he's going to be ridden quite prominently. In Hadrian's Approach, mixed paddock pick or start pick, the grey colours there, the far side. Jim, Goulaynes only had one steeplechase, but the Pipes did it with Well Chief, one chase and then a Cheltenham Festival victory.
This is a different type of horse, obviously, to Well Chief, who was a 2-miler and a speed horse. This horse looks much more of a stayer. A
Gold Cup horse of the future in this lineup? We'll find out very shortly. Here's Simon.
Coming in and away in the race that was won by Friday's Gold Cup favourite Bosworth 12 months ago, as they run to the first in the RSA Chase, and Theatrical Star was the first to pick up in the noseband. Real Milan towards the near side, taking a tug in blue colours, preceded now by Goulaynes and Houblon des Obeaux as they race in a tight cluster in front of the stands with 2 circuits ahead of them. After those is Boston Bob on the inside of Vintage Star, Union East in yellow with the red star on the body worn by Ruby Walsh. And then Lord Windermere after these. Hadrian's Approach with Lyreen, Legend to the outside, and Terminal is the early back marker. But they'd only be about 6 or 7 lengths first to last, and it's a fairly steady pace as they turn into the back straight with Theatrical Star and Joe Tizard on the near side for the team that won the handicap chase yesterday with Golden Chieftain as they landed over that one. Theatrical Star, Houblon des Obeaux in the red colours, Real Milan on the far side, Goulaynes in the pale blue. On now to the water jump. Union East just tracking the leaders out very wide. Lyreen, Legend with Hadrian's Approach. Vintage Star was a bit slow over the water. Gets a quick reminder from Ryan Mania. Now an open ditch. Almost 4 or 5 on a line going into this ditch. Theatrical Star on the near side, and they all jump it well, these novices. Theatrical Star from Houblon des Obeaux, Goulaynes, Hadrian's Approach, Real Milan on the outside. They're followed by Union East and Vintage Star. Lyreen, Legend is not far behind these, and Boston Bob on the near side. Just slightly out of shot. There's Ruby on the grey Union East, bidding to break Paul Nicholls' duck for the week so far. Plenty of opportunities to come, though, as they jump this next open ditch. And a real trying effort from Theatrical Star, but I think he might have just dragged his hind legs through it, and he was joined on landing by Goulaynes. And then Houblon des Obeaux, Real Milan on the outside. Next is Union East, followed by Vintage Star, Hadrian's Approach, then Boston Bob on the right in the back in focus colours. Lyreen, Legend further back, and Terminal and Lord Windermere are the last 2. Down the hill onto the next plain fence, and Theatrical Star on the right with Goulaynes, Houblon des Obeaux and Aidan Coleman in the red jacket. In the blue colours towards the left, Real Milan, followed out wide by Hadrian's Approach. Then Union East and Vintage Star. Back in focus is stable companion Boston Bob on the inside, that black and beige jacket. And now they head towards the turn into the straight. 2 fences in the home straight. Approaching this fence that does come quite quickly after the turn, and it can catch a horse out, particularly when they're getting a bit tired, as it did with Rival d'Estraval in that earlier 4-mile chase. Just a few strides from the turn, and over this in front, Theatrical Star with Goulaynes and Houblon des Obeaux. Real Milan out wide of Union East, then Vintage Star. Up the inside, Boston Bob as they clear the next, and Goulaynes might have been the first to rise there, but little in it with Theatrical Star on his inside. And now there's a circuit left to travel in the RSA Chase. second. Houblon des Obeaux is third. Real Milan is fourth, followed by Vintage Star and Union East, Lord Windermere, Boston Bob, Hadrian's Approach, and then Lyreen Legend, and lastly Terminal. At the next plain fence as they head to the back straight, mostly the jumping's been pretty sound so far, but it looks rather like the Neptune race, the last race. It's been a fairly steady pace most of the way here, and maybe the horse that quickens best could be the one, Union East, in about 4th or 5th place at this stage as they head down the hill to the next plain fence. Goulaine on the near side of Houblon des Obeaux and Real Milan. Theatrical Star, the early leader, is losing ground now and made a mistake there. Onto the water jump. Hadrian's Approach in the grey jacket into 4th place, then Union East. Lyreen Legend is out wide. Lord Windermere in purple colours up the inside has made some progress, wasn't overly fluent over the water. Then Boston Bob, Terminal improving from Vintage Star, and finally Theatrical Star. This is an open ditch. Goulaine really tried there for Tom Scudamore on the inside of Houblon des Obeaux. 2 lengths to Real Milan and Hadrian's Approach. Union East got a reminder there from Ruby Walsh. Lyreen Legend on the outside, Lord Windermere up the inside over the next plain fence, then Vintage Star, and maybe the pace improving all the time now, and a bit more pressure on the jumping as they head round this left-hand turn and head now to the final open ditch. Goulaine, Houblon des Obeaux are 1 and 2. Real Milan is in 3rd place to the outside. Goulaine picks up just in front of Houblon des Obeaux, who makes a blunder there. Hadrian's Approach and Lyreen Legend getting closer. Union East coming under more pressure. Back in about 8th place. Boston Bob is on his outside as they reach the top of the hill. So about to run downhill towards 3 out in the RSA, and Goulaine is the leader from Real Milan into 2nd. Hadrian's Approach is back in 3rd. Lord Windermere on the inside up to 3 miles for the first time today. Houblon des Obeaux struggling to go forward. Red Sleeves Lyreen Legend is a danger to them all. Then Boston Bob. Union East now switched to the wide outside by Ruby Walsh. Here's 3 out. Goulaine is outjumped by Real Milan there. Hadrian's Approach coming there with Lord Windermere still going strongly. So too Lyreen Legend. Boston Bob, another Irish runner in with a big chance. Then Union East, who's going to have to pick up as they run towards the final turn now, and they've got 2 fences left to jump. Plenty of chances here. Goulaine up the inside of Real Milan. Hadrian's Approach trying to come through. Boston Bob suddenly finding his stride out wide and takes it up. Boston Bob, quick and well there for Paul Townend. Kicks into a 2-length lead over 2 out. Boston Bob from Lyreen Legend. Then in 3rd is Hadrian's Approach. Goulaine and Lord Windermere out wide, approaching the final fence. Boston Bob by, oh yeah, he ploughed for it, he's gone. Boston Bob is down at the last. This leaves Lyreen Legend and Lord Windermere to fight it out up the hill. Lord Windermere on the near side, Lyreen Legend on the far side. Lord Windermere is just doing the best, goes a length clear. Lord Windermere and Davy Russell lift the RSA. From Lyreen Legend in 2nd, Hadrian's Approach back in 3rd from Union East. Then came Terminal, Goulaine's and Houblon des Obeaux and Real Milan. Boston Bob, the horse, is up on his feet all right, and I think his rider Paul Townend was up as well, so that was good to see, but it'll be conjecture as to what would have happened here had Boston Bob not tipped up, but it's gone to Lord Windermere in the hands of Davy Russell and trained by the man who'll be forever associated with Triple Gold Cup winner best mate Jim Cullity.
Jim Cullity did it many times here as a jockey. For the first time now, he does it as a trainer. And Davy Russell, the man on board. But you'd have to say they were fortunate, because this was Boston Bob, had the race at his mercy and then didn't get high enough at the last. Paul Townend goes crashing to the ground. Boston Bob up and all right. And that left Lord Windermere, who had been travelling so well with about 3 to run, looking like he couldn't get a gap, was switched wide. Oh, Boston Bob up quickly on his feet. I hope Paul Townend's all right as well. What a finish this ended up being between Lyreen Legend and Lord Windermere, and Davy Russell it is. You'll see Lord Windermere the win. Look at him prick his ears here. He's looking at the crowd, he's listening to the crowd, he's drifting away a little bit, and Davy Russell saying, look my boy, you concentrate, we've got a winning post to get past. If you'd supported Union East, you knew your fate a long way from home. Ruby Walsh had to give him a backhander with 5 to jump, and he never really was travelling. But Davy Russell, we featured him before the race. He's the man on board. Jim Cullity there, we'll be talking to him in a moment or two. But let's first hear from Davy. He's with Rishi.